This video is directed to Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy. This is a warning video. This is a calling you to repentance video, and I know people who know you directly, so this is not a far-fetched thing that you would see this video. This isn't clout. This ain't none of that. You've been in my spirit for many months now, and every time I've got ready to make a video about you, God would say, now is not the time. But today was the time. And the first thing I'm going to read right off the bat to you, this is the verse that God gave me for you, and I'm going to read it out the New International Version, Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. Diddy, you are a sneaky individual, and I've seen news story after news story of you just doing corrupt stuff, evil stuff. I seen a young kid who alleges that you stole one of his ideas, and you've got a history, you've got a record of doing people dirty, you've got a record of being a fraud, and what God showed me about you, man, you are in a dangerous place. You need deliverance from demonic influence in your life. You got a strong snake python spirit. You got a real slick, disgusting, wicked, evil tongue.
Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs is currently in federal custody awaiting trial on charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. His arrest last week in New York comes amid a series of civil suits alleging sexual assault and physical violence, some going back to the 1990s. However, while he's in jail, he's refusing to eat in prison due to paranoia that he will be poisoned, claims a former inmate. He's really, really scared. Diddy is being housed in the same living space of a federal detention center in Brooklyn as disgraced former crypto exec Sam Bankman-Fried, according to sources. Now, they've described the unit as a barrack-style area currently housing about 18 to 20 inmates. These inmates range from high-profile defendants like Combs to cooperators to inmates who may require special protection. Now, today I'm going to share with you about the 11th and latest accuser to come forward. Thalia Graves claims Combs and his bodyguard drugged, bound, and raped her in 2001 and filmed the incident. The Harlem-born rapper has denied any criminal wrongdoing. Let's take a listen.
Today, I'm attorney Gloria Allred, and with me is our client, plaintiff Thalia Graves. Today we filed a lawsuit in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, for our client, plaintiff Thalia Graves, who is given permission to use her name. The case number of the 26-page complaint is 1:CV-07-201. In her lawsuit, Thalia, through her attorneys, sues Sean Diddy Combs, also known as the defendant, and another individual and other entities. The complaint alleges in part, in the first cause of action, that defendant Combs and another defendant committed a, quote, violation of New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act by viciously and violently forcing sexual contact, oral sex, and sexual intercourse on the plaintiff, end quote. In addition, the complaint alleges in the second cause of action that defendant Combs and another defendant committed a violation of New York Civil Rights Law, quote, section 52-B, end quote, by, quote, raping plaintiff and recording it. Defendants caused plaintiff to be depicted in a video image, unclothed and with intimate body parts exposed, and engaged in sexual conduct with another person, end quote. The lawsuit also alleges that, quote, defendant Combs and another defendant published and or disseminated the videos without plaintiff's knowledge or consent. On information and belief, defendants have continued to disseminate the video, including by selling it as pornography through the present, end quote. In our complaint, we ask that, quote, defendants should be ordered to account for and destroy all copies of the video that are in their actual or constructive possession, custody, or control, end quote. And that, quote, defendants should be temporarily and permanently enjoined from further disseminating or publishing any intimate videos of plaintiff, end quote. We also allege in the third cause of action that Combs and another defendant committed a violation of New York City Administrative Code, Section 10-180, quote, recording and showing others the video of themselves violently raping the plaintiff, and the defendants disclosed an intimate image of plaintiff without her consent, end quote. As a result of these and other allegations in our complaint, we request that judgment be entered against defendants as follows. Awarding compensatory damages for all physical injuries, emotional distress, psychological harm, anxiety, humiliation, physical and emotional pain and suffering, family and social disruption, and other harm in an amount to be determined at trial. Awarding punitive damages in an amount to be determined at trial. Awarding attorneys' fees and costs pursuant to any applicable statute or law, including under New York City Administrative Code, Section 10-1104, New York Civil Rights Law, Section 52-B2, New York City Administrative Code, Section 10-180, and any other applicable statute or law. We're also seeking additional relief that the court may deem just and proper. As a result of what is alleged in the lawsuit, Thalia alleges that she has suffered and continues to suffer, among other damages, emotional harm, including mental anguish, emotional distress, humiliation, and physical damage. In a few minutes, Thalia will speak to the impact and harm that she has suffered and continues to suffer. She will take this courageous step because she thinks that it is important that the public understand the impact that rape and other criminal acts have on those who have been victimized. Often victims do not speak publicly about the specific damages that criminal acts cause them. Some of the many reasons that victims do not speak out publicly about this include being ashamed or shamed for this. But we believe that victims should not be shamed, and instead those who committed the criminal acts against them should be ashamed and take responsibility for the harm that they have caused victims to suffer. We are very proud of Thalia for speaking out today in order to help victims of rape and other acts of sexual violence against them. In addition, we thank our co-counsel, Marianne Wang.
So far you've heard the lawsuit being laid out. Apparently she was dating one of Diddy's employees, and she's alleging that the head of security and Diddy raped her, took her to some part of the house. She came over, took her to somewhere. I think it was, I can't remember if it's at the house or the studio, but they enticed her to go into some room, and they drugged her, gave her a drink, drugged her, and then they proceeded to rape her and film it. Now, supposedly, allegedly, based on what she's saying, there's a video that was sold into pornography, so it's online somewhere. So I'm going to give my thoughts about this after I'll play a clip of her speaking so that you can hear what she has to say, and then I'll come back to this.
About the video described in the lawsuit?
We cannot disclose who we're in contact with in order to have investigated this claim or any investigation that may ensue after.
So right now they're taking questions, but I want to fast forward to when she's actually speaking. Okay, let me go back.
I go through spells of being distant and withdrawn that it's sometimes so hard to leave my house. The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health. I've had PTSD, depression, and anxiety. I'm emotionally scarred. It has been hard for me to trust others, to form healthy relationships, or even feel safe in my own skin. Flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts make me feel like it's a constant struggle. I also suffer with physical problems such as chronic pain, sexual discomfort. The violation I have experienced during the assault has had lasting effects on my body, causing ongoing health problems and complications. The combination of physical and emotional pain has created a cycle of suffering from which it is so hard to break free. I want to continue on this journey towards recovery and healing.
Okay, so that's a bit of her speaking with her lawyer as they file the lawsuit against Diddy. So this is the 11th lawsuit now that's come out against Diddy. Now, I know there are genuine victims. I'm not saying that she's not a genuine victim, but, and I get it that when you go through something so traumatic, there's shame involved. You fear for your life. You feel that there'll be some kind of revenge because you've spoken out. But sometimes I struggle with, it's been 23 years since this alleged incident has taken place. And she's describing all of the things that she's going through, all the suffering, all the aches and pains, all the emotional turmoil. 23 years she's lived with this pain. And I wonder, now I haven't listened to the whole thing. Maybe she's gone to get help. I don't know. She didn't report the case to the police. This is the first time that the public is becoming aware of this, or that it's being made public. So based on my understanding is that she hasn't reported it until now that Diddy has been arrested. And 23 years she suffered. And I'm just wondering at this point, is she going to be able to heal? Like, she's waited 23 years, right? So I just wonder, I get it. I know there's that shame and, like I just said, and fear and all those things that something violently and really diabolic happened allegedly, because we don't know for sure, happens, and you keep everything to yourself and you live this life of depression and darkness, and you'd never be the same. But I wonder why, no amount of money is going to take away that. No amount of money. Yes, it's going to be some type of justice, but the emotional, the physical, and psychological abuse is not going to go away regardless of on any amount of money that you're being paid. So, it's easy for me to say, but I would love to see if you are a victim, and it's hard. You know, this is a really delicate situation because of all the things that keeps you from not talking. But then when you do talk, you still have that scar, you still have that pain, you still have those emotions. Maybe justice is done when it's served, when the perpetrator is brought to justice, right? Or serve or go to jail or have to pay out of pocket. But I really, I really wonder about this, you know? And I guess we shall see. She says there's a video. I mean, the video would be the hard proof that this definitely happened against her will. Now, I am assuming that Sean Diddy and his lawyers would say it never happened. And if it did happen, if the videotape did come out and did show that she participated, that she was a willing participant, that's probably what they'll say. So we shall see. But before I wrap up, I want to share with you the other 10 others who have come forward and launched a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs. So these included, the first one is Joy Dickerson Neal, who said Miss Ventura, which is Cassie, had inspired her to speak out, alleged Combs had intentionally drugged and raped her when she was a Syracuse University student in 1991 and had made her a victim of revenge porn by filming the assault and showing it to others. Representatives for Combs blasted the lawsuit as purely a money grab and have asked for it to be dismissed. Now, there is a possibility as well. I know it's alleged that Diddy has done all these awful things and it's been proven. I mean, we've seen the Cassie tape, the video with her being beaten, and we've heard the grumblings in the grapevine for years now about Diddy and his freak-off parties and how he treats his partners and the abuse and so on. But there's also, when these things come out, there's also that opportunity for individuals who may have had some type of relationship, who've had some interaction with him or others in this situation, and they see it as a money grab. I mean, that is a real reality as well. Number 2, Lisa Gardner accused Combs and R&B crooner Aaron Hall of plying her drinks and then forcing her to have sex with them against her will when she was 16 years old. She also claimed that Combs had visited her home the next day and choked her until she passed out. Combs' attorney slammed the claims as bogus. The 3 initial lawsuits were brought under New York State Adult Survivors Act, which granted adult victims a 1-year window to bring claims against their abusers, regardless of the statutes of limitation. Number 3, a woman so far identified only as Jane Doe claimed that Combs, former Bad Boys Records president Harv Pierre, and a third person had violently gang raped her in a New York city studio when she was a 17-year-old high school student. Number 4, a few days later, Combs broke his silence on social media against sickening allegations by individuals looking for a quick payday. His attorneys are seeking to dismiss the baseless and time-barred case. Mr. Pierre has meanwhile called the suit a tale of fiction. Rodney Lilrod Jones, a producer and videographer who worked on Combs' most recent album, accused the mogul of running an illegal racketeering enterprise in which he was forced to procure drugs, solicit sex workers, and tape sex acts. He also claims Combs and actor Cuba Gooding Jr. had groped him without consent. 6, Grace O'Marcaigh, who worked on a yacht leased by the Combs family in 2022, accused the rapper and his son, Christian King Combs, of a sexual assault. She blamed them for creating an environment of debauchery with suspected sex workers and top celebrities aboard. Number 7, Crystal McKinney claimed she had been drugged and sexually assaulted by Combs following a Men's Fashion Week event in 2003, when she was 22 years old. She also said he has subsequently blackballed her in the modeling world. Number 8, April LaProse, who says she met Combs as a student at New York Fashion Institute of Technology in 1994, detailed 4 terrifying sexual encounters through the early 2000s. 9, Adria English, a former adult film actress who worked with Combs in the 2000s, said he had used her as a sexual pawn for the pleasure and financial benefits of others during the white parties he hosted at her home in New York and Miami. And number 10, Dawn Richards, who once sang in two of Combs' assembled groups, including Dignity King, said she had personally witnessed his violence against Miss Ventura and that he had threatened her life when she tried to intervene. Now, the representatives of Combs have denied all the claims of all of these recent accusers. So it should be interesting to see how this all plays out with Diddy in jail. And it seems we're getting a new accuser coming forward pretty much every week or every couple of weeks coming forward now that Diddy has been arrested. So I will keep you posted on this. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about all of these lawsuits? What do you think? That is he guilty? They all sound very familiar or sound very similar, but that's normal because when the information comes out in the news, it's public. So, right? Let me know your thoughts. And, my thoughts and prayers are with the victims. I know there's rumors circulating that Justin Bieber was a victim and other boys when they were younger, but that's going to cover that in a different episode. Let me know your thoughts. I look forward to hearing from you. Take care and bye for now.